For this passage, I look at the overall structure to understand what the author is doing. I see that the first independent clause, the text before the semicolon, provides me with a general statement, and the second clause gives details to illustrate or explain this general statement. Now I want to start with the details, the second independent clause, to help me get the bigger picture. So I see that scraps of Emily Dickinson's poetry have turned up on chocolate wrappers, a torn piece of newspaper, and even a manila envelope. The author is giving us the impression that Dickinson wrote on whatever materials were at hand. From this observation, the author concludes that Dickinson's muse visited her not just when she was desk-bound. She was inspired to write not only at her desk, but also while she carried out her daily offices. Dickinson was also inspired to write in the midst of her day-to-day activities. So, to summarize in my own words, she sometimes wrote at her desk, but she also wrote whenever and wherever the mood struck her. So how does the author, how does this first sentence summarize the same idea? What it says is the image of Dickinson hunched over in an attic composing her immortal lines is blank, the word that we need to choose. We need to infer that Dickinson's desk was in the attic. So the image or idea here is her writing at her desk. But the details in the second clause tell us that this image does not tell the whole story. So looking at our choices, the image is not fictitious or false. Dickinson did sometimes write when she was desk-bound. You see that here in the text. So we can eliminate that response. Also, nothing in the text tells us about the lifespan or duration of the image or idea itself. We do not know if it was fleeting or brief. People may have and may continue to hold this idea for a long time. But we also don't know if the image was indelible, meaning long-lasting. Someone may have just proposed this image, or people may forget about it quickly. So we can eliminate those two. We're now left with incomplete and obsolete. And this is a bit of a tough call. I'm going to pick the answer that has the most support in the passage. Now, the image could very well be obsolete or outdated. Maybe people thought up the image of Dickinson as a desk-bound writer some time ago, and it has since been debunked by discoveries of chocolate wrappers and news scraps. But we do not have any information in this text about a timeline for the original idea or for the discoveries of these discarded scraps. So there's not a lot of support for obsolete. What we know with certainty from the passage is that the author believes Dickinson sometimes wrote at her desk and sometimes wrote during her daily offices. So a story or image where she only wrote at her desk is partial or incomplete, giving us our correct answer.